Welcome to Taiwanica. If you're looking for a podcast that is fun, deep, and insightful about the cultures in Taiwan and the USA, you're in the right place. This power couple tells real-life stories and cold hard facts while bringing you chill vibes, funny jokes, and special points of view that you can't find anywhere else. Now, your hosts, Anita and Eric.
This is episode 22, talking about sex education. Welcome to Taiwanica. What's up, guys? My name is Eric. I am one of the hosts here on Taiwanica podcast, as well as the super amazing talker teacher. And you heard her already in the background. Please welcome Anita.
Hello, guys. I am Anita. I'm the other host on Taiwanica, and I'm also another more amazing talker.
Yeah,
Than Eric.
Yeah, you keep dreaming there, Anita.
Well, after all, someone just got what is that? Top 3 high income teacher on Amazing Talker.
Now. We don't need to talk about the funny stuff on Taiwanica, okay? Just being
Amazing
on the top 1%, you know.
I don't know what he's talking about, so let's just get into our topic today.
Okay.
Shutting down.
Awkward turtle. Okay. So, talking about sex.
Education.
This is a great topic.
Eric's so excited. You guys didn't see his face. He just
About sex?
Sex?
Education?
What's education? I don't know about that part, but I definitely know about sex.
I don't know about that education, but if that was a class, I would definitely take it. Which is one of the things we're going to talk about, isn't it?
I guess so.
All right. Well, please tell us a little bit more about Taiwan's sex education.
Do you have to do that pause every single time when you say that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of necessary.
Okay. I remember. I don't know if I'm sure they definitely make some, adjustment, like teaching kids earlier or something like right now, But when I was a kid, my first sex education class, it's when I was 6th grade in elementary school.
Okay.
But it's not really talking about sex. They're just showing the pictures, like drawing pictures, showing boys and girls' private parts are different, and they tell you, when you'll start growing after you graduate from elementary school, your body will have some changes. And that's when, boys and girls are not supposed to be so close, when you are kids. So that's
because
the things.
You're looking at penises and vaginas?
No, if a girl sit on boys, they sit on the same chair, the girl will get pregnant.
That's what it said in the book.
No, that's what my mom told me.
That's what your mom told you. You hear that? You hear that, mama? You hear that? Okay. Those sitting on boys' laps. Otherwise, you get baby.
That's why sex education is essential.
Ah.
Otherwise, you would tell your kids some kind of things like that.
It's kind of like how in the United States we call about the birds and the bees. And then that's how a bird brings a baby to your house one day. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things like that.
Totally makes sense, right? Complete logic.
That's right. Like a bird will give you kids.
Go watch out. I mean, the sooner or later it's just going to be drones.
Oh my God.
Drone baby delivery.
That'll be great.
Anyways. Please continue.
Yeah. So, and then when you move on to junior high school,
yeah,
they are taking a more intense approach about this topic.
What is the intense part, Anita?
They will tell you when men and women intercourse, they will have baby. Okay. So, but you're not supposed to do that. Like when you're in junior high, they will tell you you're not supposed to do that. You have to wait until you get married. It's too early for you to do that. In order to prevent teen pregnancy, which is basically the main focus on Taiwan about sex education. So in order to prevent this situation happen, they will make you watch abortion video.
Watch abortion videos. Now wait, let's not get too graphic here, but are they pretty detailed?
Yes.
Wow. So you pretty much remember that video even today.
I cover my eyes most of the part, but yes.
Wow.
I can hear, my classmates and just like that.
Wow.
And that is like, doctor doing things like snapping.
Yes, I said,
sorry.
Yes.
So
it was very graphic.
Yes.
Yes.
So basically.
Something that you'll never forget.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's in junior high school.
Junior high school, yes.
Wow. So now, real quick here, a couple things. So you said Taiwan's main focus was to make sure that teen pregnancy was not a thing. Like they want to make sure that there was as few as possible. So one of their ways of trying to achieve that was by doing these abortion videos in junior high school to scare people from having children.
This is what I've learned from school.
And what else is there? Is there like a reason why they were like saying sex was bad? Is it because in the United States it's about religion? You can't have it until you're married because otherwise God will be sad. Okay.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Exactly. God bless you. All right. So,
anyways,
can you elaborate a little?
Okay, so for me, which we will get to that part later, but quick, like a frame for all the listeners. Like,
perfect.
In not ancient time, like long time ago, when it's our parents' generations or our grandparents' generation, like sex is definitely a taboo. They don't talk about it. Ever. Right? And then what happened in their generation, they got married super early, like 16, 15, super early, and got kids, like, 16 or 17. And when the society started developing, which bring up to the next stage, like the whole concept about marriage, having kids is no longer just for you to have offspring, right? And so they start to change, like sex is no longer just for having babies. And they also wanted to change the whole society forming
around this idea.
Yeah, like, you should wait a second to have babies.
Because now people are curious about recreationally having sex.
That's true. Yeah.
Whereas during your grandparents and parents' generations, like I know there's even a joke inside your family where your parents only had intercourse 4 times. And each time they had intercourse,
they just have babies.
They just had babies.
Yeah.
One time, one baby. That was basically how it worked, right? Like a ceremony.
Yeah.
And now, baby.
Baby.
Okay. So
that's baby.
But you can't ever imagine them being romantic with each other in this way. But in people with our generation, it's much more common in Taiwan to be romantic.
I will say so, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Very interesting. So let's dive back into what you were talking about after the abortion video. What else is there?
That's it.
Okay.
And they were...
Thanks everyone for listening to this episode. Please rate and subscribe to Taiwanica. That's it?
Yes, and then they will introduce like protected sex.
Oh, so there's more.
And when you are like about the high school time, they will start to introduce some disease that will transmit through sex.
I see. So STIs, STDs, stuff like this.
Stuff like that. And they will show you pictures. Like, if you got this type of disease,
this might happen to you.
Yeah, sort of things. And even though you use condom,
it could still happen. Yeah, so don't have sex.
Basically, just tell you, don't do it.
Just tons of fear into your brain.
Yeah, just traumatize you from having sex.
Yeah, basically. Guess what? Sex is fun. Okay, you're gonna die, maybe. So that's basically how it goes, right?
Yes.
So that's very similar with what happens with the United States too, because when we're in high school, I'll start with high school because really that's kind of where it starts in the United States.
Yeah.
Elementary school, middle school, forget about it. Like if you hear anything, usually it's from your parents TV is probably your biggest source of education when it comes to sex. And movies.
Oh yeah, movies. Definitely.
Like you see sex by the time you're like 5 years old because of movies alone, you know. And then don't even get me started on songs, you know, it's just lots of songs that are saying all these words all the time about like hot dogs, wieners, you know, stuff like that. Milkshakes brings all the boys to the yard. Okay, so there's lots of innuendos for sex in the United States, wherever you go. And it's a huge joke, right?
All
the time. So schools, you know, they don't teach a lot of it. And you're thinking, okay, well, that's interesting. And you're finally trying to, you know, you're getting there, your hormones are kicking in, and you're like, I feel all these feelings towards women now.
Do not share your own personal experience.
Okay. Well... totally getting shut down over here. But let me just get to the point here. So, if we do get taught anything in the United States, it's going to be really bad stuff.
Oh my God.
And I don't mean bad like we're going to learn horrible things that make us horrible people. It's just the quality of the content.
What do you mean by quality of the content?
So, for example, like some of the videos they show are from like the 1980s. Hey, these old videos with guys with humongous mustaches or ladies with humongous glasses, are just telling you about sex.
What were they talking about?
Wait, let me tell you, all right? Because
I'm so curious.
So one of the most common ways that they taught sex back in the 80s was using a banana and a condom. Okay, so they would say, okay, so here's a banana. And here's a condom. And so what your job is to put the condom correctly on the banana. If you can do this successfully, you are ready to go. Of course not.
You are good to go.
They don't give you like a badge or something. There's not like a certificate you get at the end of the course, all right?
Not even a sticker.
Not even a golden star. All right, but they do. That was basically what they taught through videos, and it was not a course. All right, it's not like something that you go and enroll in. All right, it's basically they come to your school for a day, and during that day they will tell you about sex entirely, and then they walk away, like thinking like you know everything in that day.
You're on yourself now, Sam.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. And so basically you go, and they don't even announce it to you. They're not going to be like, oh, hey, next week at this class, you're going to learn about sex. No, they have this person just walk in and be like, surprise sex. Class. All right, so you're just like, what the hell is happening? I'm just so shocked right now. And so my first exposure, I'll tell you, I have a story to tell later, but when it comes to education, since we're talking about that first, the only thing I remember in school that I learned about sex was when I was a junior in high school, third year, a guy really skinny came into our classroom, and all of a sudden he says, guys, I am an HIV survivor. God. And we're just like, oh my God, what is HIV? Okay. I don't even know. And then they're like, so they tell us what HIV is, and then they tell us all of these things. And apparently in the USA, this is like the biggest government funded thing, is that they will, no matter what in high school, there's going to be someone that comes to your school to talk to you about HIV or AIDS. And so there's just like, so sex is scary. I didn't know what's going to happen. There was a whole story behind it where this guy was living in Brazil, was in love with this girl. They had unprotected sex one time, and then she found out that she got HIV from the previous guy. And so bada bing, bada boom. And keep in mind, this is the early 2000s where medicine wasn't advanced enough to help these people yet. So he was extremely unhealthy. He looked very poor conditioned, and he was taking over 20 pills a day. And he showed his whole entire chart of all the pills he had to take. I felt so bad for the guy, and it was really traumatizing.
Seriously?
Extremely traumatizing. And so, it really puts the realism of like, okay, you got to be really careful when you have sex, which was a good message, I guess. But I felt like the approach was very
Too intense.
And it was way too intense. There was no like cushioning beforehand. There was no like gentle. There's no buffer. There's no like gentle hug. Yeah, it's just like literally just like you get punched in the face with sex. You know, it's just like
you didn't even have the experience yet.
No, and most of the people in my class didn't. I mean, yeah, there were some people who were already doing it, sure,
but it's like in the beginning stage of
exactly. We're all young flowers just starting to blossom. All right, and the bees are coming. All right, but. But the whole point of it is that it was just way overwhelming, and that was the scary moment for most Americans because here we are thinking that sex is going to be this fantastic thing that we do in our 20s, and then right before we jump into that part of our lives, we're put into this fear factor, and I don't know if it brings as much benefit as government believes. I feel like it just scares people more than benefits. That's basically my point of view on that. So the other thing I just wanted to just mention is, when in the United States, the big thing for women specifically, not necessarily for men, is as long as a man could put on a condom, he's good to go. But for women, one of the things I found out is that, they are introduced to a variety of birth control, contraceptive pills, or, there's lots of other ways to do it, but primarily taking the pill, quote unquote, the pill. And this is a norm in the United States. So normal that girls, even at the age of 14, even younger sometimes, start taking it. Primarily because this is a hormonal pill, which in society, it's also been labeled not only as a birth control, but also a way to grow your lady parts more, so growing your boobs more or your butts more, stuff like this, so you look more feminine. To kind of like make an advance on that. Jesus Christ. I know in Taiwan the pill isn't a thing, really, is it?
It's a thing, but it is. It's actually the most common way to for women to choose to have like birth control. But in Taiwan, there's another function for those pills. It's like they will adjust your period to even like sync. Like sometimes your cycle is like 30 days or 28 days, but sometimes they will alter because you are stressful or like your hormonal level change, something like that.
Sure.
That will stabilize your hormone. So they will stabilize your period.
Right.
That's another use.
Because of the hormones in it, right?
Yes, that's right. But we don't really, because in our society, we don't really have, the image for the girl to be really sexy. I mean, we do, but our image is like skinny. Skinny and white skin. So big boobs or big butt doesn't really the trend
represent sexy in Taiwan.
I guess that's the difference between Taiwan and America.
Oh, I see. So women in Taiwan who maybe take the pill would represent more of a sexy image in the United States, not in Taiwan.
Not really.
Okay. So would you say that's one of the main reasons why you would say you wouldn't see like advertisements for taking contraceptive pills in Taiwan very much? Because, I mean, based off of my knowledge, it wasn't very common, whereas here in the USA, it's totally normal.
Yeah, and I think the one of the many reasons we don't really have commercial talking about this is because we don't talk about sex. So everything about related to sex, this is a topic we don't really talk about. We still don't talk about. Of course, there are some very like modern independent women. They will just be really proud that they are using birth control. But older generation, they will think if girl using birth control, meaning they are slut because they can have sex freely. They don't get pregnant. They don't have to be responsible, which is a total wrong, concept and ideas. Yeah. So that's the reason why I think most of the people are still now willing to talk about this. Even when you are taking the pills, you will hide it from your parents. Don't want to let them know, kind of things like this.
Sure.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. It's very interesting how, the representation of like family, having children, and, if you take the pill, that means you're not willing to do that. So in other words, you are a slut. Just
you
because
cannot enjoy sex.
Yeah, you can't enjoy sex. You are meant to create babies, not to go have fun with it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very bad point of view, because in reality, we as humans, we are designed to, of course, create children, but also sex is amusing for us, you know?
It's very normal.
It's very normal. It's a recreational thing.
Yeah.
And we're one of the very few animals on the planet who actually do that, besides
enjoy
dolphins.
The sex. Oh my God, what?
Dolphins.
Dolphins enjoy
Dolphins.
sex.
Dolphins they do that
pleasure
for pleasure.
feeling?
Yep.
Really?
And bonobos.
Wow.
That's a monkey, if you didn't know that.
I know, because
Yeah.
you care about staring at me when you say that. I know that.
Your relatives. She just hit me like a monkey. Okay. So then I guess we're getting close to our conclusion here, right? Just before we dive into the big thing that we want to say at the end, is there anything else that you wanted to mention?
Oh, also one thing very important, because I have a student. He's very insightful, and he's a young Taiwanese. So sometimes I'll ask him like random questions like this, and he will give me something really special opinions. So I wanted to share some of the opinions that he shared with me. And he insists I cannot say his real name. He insists I use the name Hanson. Okay, so Handsome, if we are listening.
Thank you, Handsome.
All right, so I asked him, like, what do you think of the Taiwan's sex education? He agreed with what I just said. Like we didn't have the open communication about sex. Also, he mentioned about one point, which is very, very important. He say his girlfriend find out very useful information, but when it's already too late. So there's a thing called HPV.
Okay.
HPV is a like vaccine for women to take. They will prevent you from having certain cancer.
Well, HPV is an STI. And then the vaccine that you can get is to prevent yourself from getting cancer that comes from HPV.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much,
You're
Professor.
welcome.
So,
Doctor.
All right. So, but they will, in order to give you the complete, the highest protection, you have to get that vaccine before you even have sex.
Right.
Meaning
this is
when
the
you're
new development.
Yes. Before when you get it when you're a little girl that you never had sex before, they will provide you the highest protection.
Yes.
But when his girlfriend find out this, it's already too late.
Sure.
So this is also a very important, is considered sex education.
Right.
You should provide those kind of information to girls. Stop telling us not to have sex. Telling us what should we do. What kind of things we can do
to prevent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Isn't it the correct way to do that? Instead of just like,
fear.
Having baby, your life is doomed.
F-E-A-R. Fur. Yeah.
No,
seriously though, that's exactly what they're doing.
So important.
It's wrong.
Yes.
That's the point here.
Yes.
The conclusion here is that it's wrong. And now, society is totally taking advantage of this fear, aren't they?
Yeah, totally.
Yes. There's this humongous correction about sex being a taboo. I mean, everyone, this all comes from the emotion of lust. Let's just bring that out for a second here. Lust. An emotion of being attracted to the other sex, or if you're same sex, if you are gay or lesbian, and so in these situations, it's completely natural. Yeah. Whether you're married, whether you're 15 years old, whether you're 80 years old, this is emotion. in our brain.
Yeah, sometimes if you're happy, if you're joy, if you're sad, this is one of them.
Yes, lust is one of them. And so, no matter how much society tries to, hide this from us.
No matter how sexy your wife is.
No matter how sexy your wife
Eric
is.
still have that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I do. And Anita does too with certain men, which her taste is very strange. And we completely accept that about ourselves because lust is just a thing. Mm-hmm. But people don't talk about it. So what happens? Society takes advantage of it, making sexy songs, making sexy videos. Advertisements. You ever wonder why there's a really sexy girl trying to sell you glasses? Because of lust. All right. You ever wonder why you're trying to get health insurance, but there's a sexy girl who's providing it to you? That's because of health insurance or lust. That's because of health insurance. Yes.
I did not know health insurance covered that part.
Right. Do you ever wonder why there's a sexy guy who's trying to sell you a minivan? It's because of lust. Because it's literally all about, our sexual attraction towards somebody. Yeah. And then we will get something because of that feeling. And so what do we see? We see movies that are completely filled with it. We see music videos covered in it everywhere. And now what happens? You walk outside in the United States, and not very much in Taiwan, where women are wearing practically nothing sometimes. And it's totally society acceptable because it's what movies and music videos do.
Video can do that. Why can't I do that?
Exactly. So it's something that, the entertainment world is basically taken advantage of because of our unawareness of this, this very important emotion, lust.
And I also think there was one part, like feminism is also play a huge part of this. We keep on promoting like same sex, different sex should have equal right, So it's like, a guy can do that. Why can women do that?
Right.
We try to promote these ideas. Yes, sex is okay for you to have. You can enjoy sex, but, women can do that too. But some women or like, some other different kind of thinking, they were just like, oh, I can do that. So they were being overly sexual. Yeah, because they were, a lot of women in society previously were pushed to conceal that, to hide it, to not be okay with enjoying it. So now people are making an overcorrection. There's a group like this, but not every woman's like this. Of course not. What I'm saying is, if we can have transparent conversation about sex when the kids are still young, when they are teenagers, they are curious about sex, we have a transparent conversation with them. They will understand these things, and in the future, they will make their own decisions. Now they will affect by, society, social media, all those kind of things. I think
TikTok.
That's the point. Oh my God, TikTok. Do not even open it.
All right. That's a can of worms. I'm going to close that. All right. But that is a very
personal opinion.
Very good way to end this podcast episode, Anita. Thank you so much for that valuable message. I think you just really told everybody like the way of like looking at this point of view, sex, in a different angle. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much today, too.
Yes, thank you. Well,
we're being so polite to each other.
Well, I don't know.
I have no idea.
You're great.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're pretty okay, too.
We should probably, learn some more education.
Please don't say that.
All right. And that is the end of Taiwanica's episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for listening today.
And we hope to see you again soon. And also, please join us on Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah, so you can see more crazy content like this.
Yeah, we're definitely expanding our business, huh?
Yes, and more on that soon.
Yeah, more of your support can push us further and faster.
Yes, that's right. So thank you again for listening.
Enjoy your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Taiwanica. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.